Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Jonathan Nicholson with ISP Supplies, and I'd like to welcome everyone to the Cambium Networks cnHeat webinar presented by Dan Sullivan, who is Director of RF Planning with Cambium Networks. Today, we'll be going over the cnHeat product line with a lot of detail, very in-depth, going over the CN Locate as well as CN Optimize products, as well as pricing and touching up on some new upcoming services as well from Cambium Networks. So without further ado, I would like to present everybody to Daniel Sullivan. Daniel, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Okay, you can see, I assume you can see my screen, Jonathan, and everybody.
Yes, sir, we could.
Excellent. So let me get into full screen mode. I'd like to talk about cnHeat and the webinars with ISP Supplies and what ISP Supplies and Cambium Networks can do for you for your RF planning needs. I want to talk about two main topics today, new features that have come out or recently have come out. And the first one is called a change to cnHeat locator, an improvement, and it's called minimum SM height, which shows on the left. And I'll describe for right now the high-level points of what it provides, and then I'll kind of go through examples so that everyone can get a feel for what's happening. With minimum SM height, we are enhancing the heat map that you get to basically show you it all. So instead of having two slices of a heat map of your choice, like 1 foot or 10 foot, now you can see every slice that you can deem imaginable. And and you can see your heat maps in two modes: the height that coverage can be reached for an SM, but also the signal strength, and you can switch back and forth between those. And for an SM height at customer locations, we can show you how to mount anywhere from 1 to 80 feet, and we can show you all the customers that can get service anywhere from -40 to -100 dBm. And what's even better than anything is with this new feature, you control how you want to see the SM height and the signal strength. It's a real-time dynamic control for the heat map that we created. And also, we let you dynamically change between viewing your heat maps and signal strength or an RSSI. And real quickly, we are releasing this imminently. It could be this Friday. We're working on a few last enhancements and getting the software ready. And if you have existing cnHeat sites, with the current functionality, we will grandfather you in and provide you these features. Okay, so what is this minimum SM height? What I'm showing you right here is I'm showing you an example of coverage, and it's showing a signal strength view. So if we look over here, you see my mouse, it's circling around the signal strength indicator, and you can see right now it's set to -75. So what happens if you go to this the example here, we show all the coverage at -75 dBm or better. The second thing that we're showing is we're showing all the coverage that also includes wherever you can mount an SM if you were to put it 80 feet off of the ground or on top of a roof. We look at ground, roof, and trees. We always install on top of them. We don't count just the earth. We look at what's the install height above the topmost thing on the earth. So what you have here is we have the ability to show the heat map at a certain RSSI level or better and a certain SM height or lower, and you can see everywhere you can install. All right, so we zoom into this, and remember on the previous slide, we were at -75 RSSI, but what if you said, hey, I just want to see the customers that I can install with at -60 dBm, or someone calls you and they say, you know, I got to have a certain package and it's like 100 megabits per second in the downlink. You know, you might say, oh, on that tower, I need -60 dBm or better. So what we have here now is you can see the signal, the slider has changed, and the RSSI is now set to -60 for the signal strength. and voila, the heat map is now automatically updated due to your choice to now make it show just negative 60. Now, the next thing that we can do is we can still have the same negative 75 dBm RSSI or better, and we can still have install at 80 feet or better. But now what you see is the heat map has been put into SM height view mode. And so what SM height view mode is it shows you, I'll show this on the next slide, it shows you the different colors of what you can install at. So purples over here on the left, that is showing you, hey, I can install really low because it's dark purple. But on the right, the blues are where you can just barely install if you had an 80-foot install. And anywhere there isn't a color, you can't install at. So if we go and give an example, here's a house at 801 West Tuttle Road, and it's right here. You see there's a push pin for where it's at. And so what we look at is we go back to this color gradient, dark purple at 1 foot and blue at 80 feet. And we've chosen 76 feet to work with, which is pretty much all the way up the top. So now you see all the colors, and if you install on at the purples, you can install at 1 foot. Well, these items right here that are really tall, you can tell these are trees. So you can't install here, and here's the actual house. And you can see in the middle of the house, it's dark purple, and then right to the side on the right, it's like blue. And then it's not as dark purple here to the left on this area. So you kind of get an idea that you would install here when you have your slider all the way at 76 feet. Now what we do is and see there's the purple swath that I was talking about over the roof. Now what we do is we moved our slider all the way to the left to 3 foot, and you can see now that only coverage at 3 foot or above is shown. So for this house, we see that at 3 foot or above, I can install on this part of the roof and nowhere else. So this allows us to find the best spot at 3 foot to install. You can see like the neighbor house, you could probably install on the ground. You couldn't install on the roof because there's a tree in the way, but you could install on the ground here. So that's the power of the tool, is it's allowing you to change your height of your SM to find the best install location. Let's go to the next slide. Here is another example. It's 117 Alden Lane, and we're showing all the coverage, all the way up, up to the 80 foot. And if we look here at this house, it shows coverage, but it's pretty much like blue or not really dark purple. And you start to get darkness further out towards the corner of the property. So the blues are on the yard, which is bad, most of the nearby yard, and light purple's on the roof, which means really you're not going to install a big pole on the roof. So what we do is we see this purple swatch at the back corner of the yard like I talked about. We can investigate that further. So on this next slide, that's exactly what we did. We now moved our slider all the way down to 22 feet, and then when we see here, when we get to 22 foot, we find out that we can install here on this property, and there's a little slice in this area, and probably the closest place to install to the house is right over here. So what we have now for our wisps is the ability to figure out where to install and how to keep lowering your height to understand how to minimize the cost of the install. So you can, when the customer calls in and says, can we get service? The customer service rep at the time of the call can go, we think we can get you service, and you probably would need something like a 25-foot pole to install, and we can, at the back corner of the yard, and we can connect to your house. And so the customer is made aware of this right at the start of the call, and you know where to install when the installer comes out, and it's bam, it's very fast. So anyway, so just remember that the slider for SMI can go from 1 to 80 feet, and you can keep lowering it or raising it to find out where the minimum height is that you can install on any property. One of the things that we really find compelling for this is RSSI means a lot, and the value of the RSSI that can be received. So we can show RSSI accuracy, and now it's within 1 dB, right, of granularity. And maybe it's hard to see in the presentation. I'm going to try. So you can see that the colors go from red at 40, -40, to blue at -100. But in here, we have different colors that correspond like -62. These are oranges. So these same colors on this like legend right here, you come here, and this is actually -62 dB, which is what this slider is saying, show me all the coverage with -62 dB or better. And then here you can see that the color gets a little bit deeper orange, and this is where everywhere you can get -61 dB or better. And then here it's -60 dB and better. Here it's -59 dB and better. Here it's -58 dB and better. And as you get closer and closer to the tower, you're at -57 dBm and better. So you have a very good idea when someone calls in as to what RSSI value they can get. And of course, that gives you an indication of the throughput of service that can be provided for that customer also. The second feature that I want to go through is, and just before we go on, is cnHeat Locate. This feature is coming out, like I said, right away in the near future, maybe even this Friday. And so when you get a cnHeat site, you get all of these new features. The second feature we have came out recently, and it's called cnHeat Optimize. So let's say you want to do greenfield site planning and you don't know where to put your tower. Well, we can help you. So what we do is we say to you, we get input from you of all the SM locations you want coverage at. You provide us the height, the latitude, the longitude, and the height. And you can give us up to 30,000 of these locations. So in this example here, we have like 6 subscribers, or the push pins are 7, and we want to get service for these 7 subscribers. So they've given us the latitude, the longitude, and how high up they want to do the install. And now what we're trying to do is find a tower that can cover all of these. And so we let you provide us 2 AP tower heights, so a lower height and an upper height, so you can see the difference in cost that you would spend, but the additional subscribers you would get. You tell us the center point for your search and then the radius of how far you want to search. And we'll go out to 8 miles for you. So now let's kind of show you what the results are for something like that. Here are the results from this actual heat map, and you can see the different colors. No color means that if I install at this height, I can't cover anybody. And then we keep going, like blue is 1, green is 2, and we go all the way up, and the deep red is all 7 can be covered. So you can see you could, install at this little location and cover all those 7 subscribers. And this could be very, very important to meeting CAF 2 planning. So say that you got to cover these 7 subscribers and to meet your CAF 2 requirement. And now we can let you know in advance before you deploy anywhere where to deploy this and install a tower, and you can meet your CAF 2 requirements or any other requirement where you have to cover certain subscribers. Now another one is, say that you're going to go to a new area and you might want to cover as many subscribers as possible and make the best investment as possible. Will you tell us, hey, I want to cover this area? We can even find all the buildings if you want in the area, if it's the United States. Or you can provide us all the buildings with the latitude, longitude, and the height. And the result of that is we show the buildings in little dots. And from this analysis, we show the hotspots of coverage. And basically, the yellows are showing that you can cover up to about 100 subscribers. So you can see that for these 3,500 subscribers, you can install in various locations. And the result of this is you can find the number of towers that would optimize the amount of coverage you would have, so you can maximize your SM coverage and hence your revenue. Real quickly is, how do you know that the coverage of the site does get your subscribers? And so what we have here for you is something called verify coverage. So the first one, sorry, I wasn't clear. This is called Site Finder to figure out where to put your sites, and that's the output right here. And then once you figure out where you want to put your site, we have a thing called verify coverage, and it just gives you a nice little heat map of where all the coverage is for this tower at the location you want to build it. And so sure enough, you can start looking at these subscriber locations. There's 7 of them, and you can see which ones are covered and which ones aren't. And when we provide this heat map, it's not got the prettiness of locate, but it gives you a nice Fresnel zone view of coverage so you can get an idea of how far away you are and the subscribers that actually do have coverage or not. So if we go down, and so as a result of that, we can offer this heat map at a much reduced price compared to the locate heat map, so that you can verify that the tower placement can hit the subscribers and you can see what else it can hit or how close it comes. Let's look at what this might mean. So here's a closer view right up here, and here are 2 subscribers. And here's a covered subscriber. You can see that it's covered by the green. This is Fresnel zone coverage, and you know that that tower covers this. Yes, and then if I do the second subscriber, you can see, no, it's not covered, and you can get an idea of how far away you are from coverage to being able to actually provide coverage to that second SM. Okay, so lastly, I want to share with you just general cnHeat part numbers and pricing, and you can work with ISP supplies. And if you want to buy cnHeat, we offer locate, with what I just showed you. You can buy 3-year subscriptions or 1-year subscriptions, and you can pay it monthly for $12.50 a month. And actually, what happens is we collect payments every quarter at $37.50. There's 12 payments, or you can pay for it all up front and for the subscription. And so 3 years, 1 year, and if you really want to just do a site for a short period of time, we can provide you a 1-month site access too. And here's the optimized. To do the site finder, where you find the good areas to put your site, $250, and then very reasonably priced verifying coverage for only $80 to make sure that what you decide to do and choose gets the subscriber that you expect and need. The other thing I want to bring up for the United States only is that if you buy a cnHeat locate site with a 3-year or 1-year subscription, we can give you the addresses for all the buildings that have coverage based on the height above the roof you want to install. To say, like, you have coverage for a certain tower that you have for locate, and you say, I might want to get 500 addresses and target only those homes with coverage. You can say it to us, give us the information, and you say, I might only care about the homes where I have a 1-foot install on the roof. And the reason for that is maybe you're not willing to install more than 1 foot, but you give the 1-foot install and you give us the site, and we'll tell you the first 500 addresses that can have coverage, and it'll be by RSSI and closeness to the tower. But you can also tell us certain polygons if you want coverage or things, and we can give you coverage too. And so you can get basically all the addresses to target market to that can give the coverage at 1 foot or above the roof line, or any other parameter you want to use if you want to be higher. And you can specify your maximum RSSI you're willing to target market. So that's what Identify is. It's a very good way to target market and provide addresses, get addresses to target market to. And we can do it 2 ways. You can either have the addresses sent to yourself, or if you use a marketing firm with Market Broadband, we can send it to Market Broadband and they can take care of the addresses for you. With that, that's what I have. So with that, Jonathan, I don't know if there's anything more you want to share, but if you have any questions whatsoever, you can contact me always at daniel.sullivan@cambiumnetworks.com. And we'd love to hear from you and help you out.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Daniel, for that in-depth, informative overview of cnHeat and all the different services. If anyone has any questions on cnHeat, like Dan said, please reach out to him direct. You can do so at daniel.sullivan@cambiumnetworks.com, or you can reach out to us here at ISP Supplies Direct at sales@ispsupplies.com. We will be uploading a recording of this webinar for anyone who may have missed it or would like to review the information again. Please make sure to follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ISP Supplies, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ISP Supplies. So thank you very much once again, Dan, for going over the information, and we'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of their day and joining us today. And please, like I said, reach out to us at sales@ispsupplies.com or call us at 855-947-7776 for all and any of your Cambium needs. So have a great rest of your week, everyone, and God bless.